Hey, welcome back to another Just 5 Mins. Okay, it's all go in the Docker world, isn't it? Containers, and nothing better to manage those pesky little containers, which is interesting because obviously if you download Docker Desktop on Mac or a PC or Linux, it's pretty good. It's pretty much a graphical interface to manage your images, create the containers, manage all the other little bits that go on, like the network, the storage, and everything else. But there are sometimes issues with, certainly what I've experienced as well, is running that environment, and really that's the front end. It's not the Docker service itself that's running, and it can be a little bit clunky. It can be sometimes a little bit buggy when things get updated, but anyway, a good friend of mine that has already had a guest experience on this podcast anyway is Tim Abel, my very good friend Tim Abel. I'll put a link to his show and blog in the show notes as well, but he suggested lazy Docker. Hey, we're all lazy really at heart, or an easy way to look at things. This is quite interesting because it does give you a really nice clean way to manage your Docker environment on your laptop, PC, whatever it might be, flavors of your choice. And it's got a great elevator pitch, actually. There's quite a lot of people, actually. I was quite surprised, actually. A lot of it's essentially a GitHub project, apparently written in Go. And there's a few other bits and pieces in there that you might find interesting anyway. But I went to the link that Tim had sent me, and yeah, I was quite surprised. It's actually quite well maintained, and the bottom line is that you essentially get a command line that you can, you could just have lazy Docker. You don't have to remember all the Docker commands. It sort of tells you those things, but you can run this simply from the command line. And it's got, I think they use a Go UI library, but it is definitely a command line application, but it has, dare I say, a feeling of like the old DOS days, Microsoft DOS days, where you've got a nice sort of layout but in DOS, not Windows. But that's actually quite a good thing in a lot of ways, because it's a little bit cleaner, a little bit more lightweight. It just runs. You literally type, once you've installed it, lazy Docker, and there it is. And it's really nice. It's really well laid out. So even though it's sort of textual based UI, it's clean and it's really easy to get around. So it's a great tip if you're using Docker for sure. And again, thanks to Tim, my good friend, for suggesting this one. Installing, yeah, there's all the different flavors that you'd expect for different environments, OSs. I'm running on Windows for this one, although I'm going to try it on my Ubuntu Linux laptop as well. But I used Chocolatey. There's a few flavors to play around with. Homebrew if you're on a Mac, I suppose, or PC, I suppose. But there's lots of other packagey, managery things, which I get a little bit lost personally. But I've used Chocolatey, and I think that was a Tim recommendation from a long time ago. But that was really quite easy to get going. You just do choco install lazy Docker, and it just did what it said on the tin, which is always a nice thing to happen. But yeah, just a nice lightweight way of managing all your Docker environments. So it's definitely one to look out for. I'll put the details in the show notes. And for once, this is a Just 5 Mins that actually is within Just 5 Mins. So that's what I've got for this time around. Look out for the next one in the near future. Take care, everyone.